Yes, here we go. It's the Bhoycie Bus. It's the Friday feeling, as I decided to call it today. I think it's important to have a wee chat before we do the Bustalgia and the Reflective show. We're going to be talking about the City group later. Phil's research and his background work is unbelievable. But I just think there's so much current affairs going on. It'd be remiss of us not to do a wee chat today if I could certainly say my favourite Celtic player were to be leaving the building, and obviously a new signing we've announced as well. We're going to get all into all that, but before we do all that, good stuff, and that means if you're not a Bhoycie Bus subscriber but you're watching, hit the subscribe button. It costs you fuck all. If you've never hit the like button yet, please do, because do you know what I mean? The like button, it just gets all that algorithm, the traction. It gets, am I right? It seems to warm the cockles, mate, of YouTube if you're hitting likes. Even if you put a thumbs down, I was told. Apparently that gets a lot more traction as well. So either way, whether you're a thumb up or a thumb down, it's all about the thumbs. If you want to become a Bhoycie Bus member, like so many of you have, let's have a wee look. Balls to the walls, he's one. Pam, Ali, Stephen Murdoch, Scott Howe, Charles Smith, Alistair Jack. The list just goes on and on, mate. Honestly, it's $1.99 a month. The content never changes. You're just helping us keep the wheels of the bus on the road. Okay, maybe you've got to do what you've got to do. Connor, you know he was my favourite. He's the one guy I was looking forward to the most under Brendan. Can you blame him, though, for going to Saudi Arabia?
I mean, he was my favourite as well, and
I knew you'd say that. You're full of shit, mate. Your favourite's fucking like fucking Yuri Yarasik or something.
It could be worse. My favourite could be Aaron Moy. But no,
we'll talk about that.
If the rumours are to be believed, he's getting offered an absolute obscene wage. I think I heard it's something close to $200,000 a week. I mean, I'd think you were an absolute fucking moon unit if you're only out taking that offer. You could be, Jota, you could be Jimmy Johnston. If you got offered that kind of money, then I think the sensible thing for you as a person would be to take it. Now, obviously, as I'm assuming we'll go into it, a lot of people have a lot of reservations about this league and the talent they're picking up and just the absolute tons of cash. They're just spunking on players left, right and centre to try and bump up their chances to get put in the Champions League and things like that, bidding for it. I'm sure we'll get into all that, but for Jota, I would say if he does go, because nothing's been confirmed yet, but it's basically all done. I just have to say, I would have loved for him to stay. I think he could have been an absolute superstar more than he already is under Brendan, but I hope he goes with my best wishes, and thank you for all the memories, mate.
Well, the thing is, if you had the hard on for Jota, then, he's gone. So you might end up a wee bit floppy. I better make sure I'm doing the sponsorships, Connor. Because ED Pharmacy, our loyal sponsor. Check edpharmacy.co.uk if you want to take your SPFL form to Saudi Arabian levels. Then check out edpharmacy.co.uk. Bus 10 at the checkout, 10% off. And, well, you know what I mean, have a good time all night. It's that simple. But yeah, Connor, I get why you'd leave, right? Money-wise, I just think it's an impossible situation to turn down. Think of any you would say, no, I'm not interested, pal. Of course you're going to do it. I also found this debate about careers going down the tubes, going to Saudi Arabia. I'm like, what, with Ronaldo, Benzema, who's the other one? There's another few that are playing there.
N'Golo Kante.
Yeah, Kante's one.
Brozovic is going.
There's one for Man City. Is it Bernardo Silva? Was the other one?
Aye.
But anyway, there's more elite players in that league than the SPFL combined. Like, what do you think they said in the Portuguese media when Jota left Benfica? Oh, yeah, that'll really progress your career. Ross County away. Mate, nobody cares, mate. I think we're a wee bit snobby towards the attitude. I think it's the unknown, and I think there's a real lack of respect as well for the fact that, not because I condone how the money's produced, I don't know enough about it. And it's not my gift to be talking about stuff like that. But what I would say, Connor, is see when you look at the actual numbers involved from a player's point of view, of course you're going to do it. This football is late to the party, if you like. See if you look at boxing, the heavyweight division, right? The heavyweights haven't really fought each other for the last 12 to 18 months. Usyk and Joshua had a rematch. Where did they do it? Saudi. The first match was in London. That was this trigger for all the Saudi stuff. Now fighters just won't fight. Why? Because it's 100 million quid. That's our fee now, because we're used to Saudi money. If you think footballers will be... if you think footballers will be going there thinking they'll be dressed in a towel or anything like that, do you know what I mean? They're going there, mate, to be handsomely paid, properly recompensed, and to play in a league that, let's fast forward this 12 months, pal, will look very different to the dodgy or shitey Saudi Arabian league. Not that any SPFL fan could ever say that, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know we like to criticise it because obviously being Celtic and we were a club of certain morals and all the rest of it, but they're getting all these superstars in and they just have, you know, a never-ending pot of gold to spend from. So they'll be getting superstar after superstar because the money just never ends, and players will want to go there. They'll be like, I'll go and play there and make my money and be a superstar. And I sure the rest of the league might not be great quality, but the more decent players move over there, the better the league will become eventually. Do you know what I mean? It's only a matter of time. And we can't criticise it. Like you're saying, we play fucking Ross County and your Dundees and
look at the optics of our league.
Hibs and Hearts are seen as big teams in this country. I think that says it all.
I think it's ridiculous that people want to be Judge Judy over the Saudi Arabia thing. Do you know what, though? Let's talk about Jota, the player, and what it means towards Celtic, Connor, because I think he would have been the ace in the pack for Brendan. I see that's the guy I would have went. I think by the end of this season, he does something along the lines of 28 goal contributions in 38 games. That's goals. Bear in mind, he scored 2 Champions League goals this year. I seen some plant pot on Twitter saying, he never done fuck all in Europe. Well, he scored in the Europa League when he was in that. He went to Champions League. He scored 2 at Celtic's 3 goals in that. The other goal scorer was sold for a fucking couple of pence. Do you know what I mean? I think we're losing, in terms of the football-wise, a guy that's going to be very difficult to replace. And here's the end bit. Marco Tilio's the guy who's been brought in to replace him, or is that a Celtic signing, not a Brendan signing?
Who was it that said he's not done it in Europe? Who was it?
Oh, fuck knows, man. Someone on Twitter. There was actually a debate going, I agreed, mate, in that. Like, folk are voting for the worst.
He scored one of our only goals in the Champions League.
He scored 2 of the 3 goals Celtic scored.
Right. He scored a belter free kick in the Bernabeu.
That's what the important. It was the Shakhtar goal that actually contributed.
I know.
Scored that as well. And he scored in the Europa League. Betis away in that. Folk are mental. And he went, he's never done nothing in Europe yet. I'm like, really?
Anyway, he's obviously. I think people are saying that because they're a bit like the chubby girl that's been left at the side of the prom when the hot dates meant to be coming. But you know, and Jota just went away on a plane to the hot Saudi league. But yeah, obviously they think he has a bit of unfinished business in Europe, and they think under Brendan, under his tutelage, he went to the next level. And I agree with that. I don't agree that he's pissing his career away. I mean, I don't know anybody that's pissing their career away for moving for that kind of money, and they'll probably get another decent move a couple of years down the line. He'll be laughing all the way to the bank. He'll not care. But, oh, sorry, I didn't come and play Ross County and St Johnstone the other week. Oh, I'm going to have a terrible time. But, yeah, with that, Tilio, everything on paper says fast, tricky winger, who's good in the ball, who's got a porno tash, screams Jota replacement. But all that other stuff...
That's just aesthetics, isn't it? It doesn't really add up.
It's just the optics of it.
I think if David Kelsey did not score 4, who else scored? Oh, the Atati!
It was an own goal, technically, got put down.
The own goal. I was sure Giacomakis and Jota scored 2. But if David's in here being clever, I've got your card marked, David Kelly. But yeah, I just think in terms of the player that we're losing, I think forget the aesthetics as much as they're brilliant, and he would have probably helped sell the new shirt. We'll talk about the new shirt before we go. But you must be feeling a wee bit gutted, Connor, in terms of the level of ability Jota's got that Celtic are now losing out on. Because for me, I've got to be honest, I think there's many that could do what he could do. Stephen Ray's coming in and talking about Hacksaw. In my opinion, it's different sports, mate.
Aye. He was clearly the best player in this country, on his day, and even on his off days. You just seen the amount, the tricks and the flicks, the skills, the silkiness, his performances against Rangers and the goals speak for themselves. Do you know what I mean? It's just I feel like it's the same kind of thing with what happened with Ange. He was just on that cusp, right? If he had another season here and then performed to those levels again and done it in Europe, it would almost started kind of reaching icon status for the club. Do you know what I mean? For a lot of the supporters, but he's obviously just missed out on that, and I think that's kind of what's hurting people more. It's not even necessarily the fact that he's moving to the Saudi league or he is getting.
Do you think the Saudi thing is a deflection, Connor, of folk just accept we just want to go? Oh, he's going to Saudi. What just all about the money. Let's look at the football point of view. This is the guy you look to against Rangers and the guy we look to again in Europe. That's a fact, mate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you're losing. It's like losing your left leg. It's like losing a part of you that's massively important as to how you function. And I think that almost comes with a little bit of fear as well, as people are worried how we're going to replace him because he's a player of such a high caliber. And look, you think about it, he was a deadline day signing. Do you know what I mean? And he was kind of offered to us at the last tick of the clock, almost along with Carter Vickers. So he's not. It's not like we went and scouted him out ourselves and stuff like that, and he was rumoured for months and months. At least I don't remember that. So, yeah, we got an absolutely fantastic player, but there's nothing to say that we can't reinvest the money we get, however much it is, and go and get a player who is as good, or if not better, which is what I'd be hoping for.
Here's what I'd like to take you to the conversation about, right? Because, see, in January, right, we were fucking sitting there, and you were the same as me. Well, 4.3 million or whatever it was for Giacomakis. I'm like, it just seems odd for a guy that we felt brought so many different tricks to the party. You know, and I thought, why would you let him go so low? Is that a personal thing? If it is, fair enough. Then you got the really curious case of Juranovic, who everyone was adamant was going to be £25 million. I never thought it was worth that, personally. I think you could stick Croatian internationals for Bhoycie. You know what I mean? I thought he would have cost more, though, than $7.5 million. When you look at the combined fees for those two in January, now we get the 25 million. It will be 25, right? I think Jota will get the 25 million mark. Is that where our ceiling is now, Connor? What's happening here with players leaving? Are we getting the maximum values for our best players? What do you think?
No, we're not. Giakoumakis was at least worth £10 million. Do you know what I mean? Top goal scorer, absolutely bodied Rangers every time he played against them. Didn't score, but still had absolutely great games. Scored in Europe, scored in Champions League. Top scorer his first season, even though he had a long spell out injured, which only just goes to show you that if he didn't have that injury and was up to speed, he would have been miles clear a top goal scorer. He's now tearing up over in America, and see if people are in the comments saying, but it's American League. You'd be like, they would scud every other team in Scotland bar Celtic and Rangers. So, do you know what I mean? It's no really.
Agreed.
It's comparing apples to oranges. So, Juranovic, Croatian International World Cup semi-finalist. They finished in the third place playoff. I think he got an assist, did he not, in the World Cup? I think he got at least one assist, I think. I'm trying to remember, but I think he got at least one assist. So, and he had an absolutely brilliant game against a team I can't mind. Did they play Brazil? I actually can't mind. My head's that fried thinking about that World Cup.
Nobody cares, mate. Your head and my hair. My hair's fried, your head's fried.
Anyway, but you look at that, if all that tacked on, no matter how good or how bad you thought Juranovic was as a player, that's at least worth, I think, 15, near enough pushing the 20 mark. Jota, an absolute wonder kid, superstar, by the way, he was getting highly rated. I don't know if you like fans of English football and that as well when they were watching him. I seen comments on that.
Was it not a FIFA thing as well?
I got a really good FIFA card. He was really rated highly.
That's all I play the way.
He was getting his highlights put on the I think Europa League Twitter page his first season for like the passes he was singing.
But see, recently, I mean, you're down with the kids, mate. But was there not a
that sounds a bit dodgy, mate. I wouldn't be saying that.
No, your age, man. You're like.
I know, I'm joking.
Oh, for fuck. That's only dodgy and fucking idiots here. You're down with the kids because you're young, Connor. You must play a bit of FIFA back and forward.
Mate, I've not played FIFA in about 4 years, mate. But let's keep going.
Not? You moved on.
Mate, I'm very much of the. Why would I pay an exorbitant? No, I'm all right. I played the last. No, I played the last one, but it was.
So you did play the last one. That wasn't 4 years ago.
No.
Right. What I'm trying to say, rather than you being a smart ass about playing Sonic the Hedgehog or Mario or whatever, right, is did he not get a FIFA card that got like published only about a month ago that had shown he became like someone like rated like 90 something?
97, I think it was, or a 98 winger.
That's huge though, no?
Aye.
And then you start worrying, have Saudi bought that? Bhoycie's conspiracy theories again. Has Saudi bought that? So it looks like he's a better player than... Because why the fuck would he be getting that rating out of nowhere from this dodgy league that we're on, the SPFL?
Well, it's also the same game that gave James Tavernier like a 96, 97 rating as well.
He's a great player, mate. He's a great player. No, fair enough. I don't know. But let's look at the finance of it as well, because Ben Morio's got a good point here. If we get 25 million, it's a 30% sell on, as long as we get our 30% sell on, Brown, because obviously what we need to take into account is it was 30% going to Benfica. Am I right in that? So like if whatever we sell, say it's 25 million, that means Benfica take up a very healthy £8.3 million. Then we've made what would that take away? 16.7, and then you take away what you've paid for him, 10 million profit, take away his wages, you're into the single millions. I know it's millions of pounds we're talking about, but I don't know. I wonder if Johnny Lowe got a point. I know you've seen 50 million idiots try to ridicule him for that, but he is right. If someone's got a pot or a pocket that has zero depth to it, basically you can keep digging into, what's the problem?
Yeah, it would be good. Obviously, the only thing is like we're getting the same money for a player who's a world class winger, the same money we were getting for Kieran Tierney a few years ago, and that's just disappointing a wee bit. And it's if it was for a team like a a Wolves or something like that, I would be like, okay, that's fair enough. But see, because it's from the Saudi League and they just have unlimited sums of money, I don't understand why, considering he's contracted until I think 2027, he's still got like a good few years left in his deal. Why are they not saying, see a 25 million, double that, or you can fuck off? Because they could, that's like nothing, that's chump change for them. These people, mate, are royalty. They are trillionaires. They're not millionaires. They're not billionaires.
Which
They're
people,
trillionaires.
I think people don't get that bit, Connor. If I'm honest, I think they don't. They don't understand the landscape of sports changed so much, and it's a lot of them are royalties. So they don't need to declare the
Tax
money
or
they
anything.
have.
Aye.
No one knows how much these guys have. See, when you start talking trillionaire stuff, like that is mental. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like, you know, but the Formula One, the boxing, the golf, all of it, all these massive sports worth all this money. And football, you know, typically is failing to catch up with the modern times and being a bit stuck in its ways. But, you know, that's kind of what we love about the sport. And like, I don't want to see the Saudi League and the Saudi sheikhs and that buying everything and buying over UEFA and the Champions League, and because it'll be the death of football, it'll be the death of what we all love, and you know it'll just be heartless now because it's just pumped full of so much money it becomes meaningless.
But
But
listen, the EPL made football meaningless anyway.
I know, but
Mate, see when I
this is a
see
whole other
Burnley.
animal, mate.
See,
This is a
no,
whole other
how
animal.
is it though? How is it though? Aberdeen had more season ticket holders than fucking Bournemouth, and Bournemouth are paying a player 100 grand a week. It's the fucking same thing.
As it though, but do these people, these like
Why?
the
What's the
shoes that
difference
have
then,
more
Connor? You
money,
tell me.
I think just with the amount of money they have, right? I think even the Premier League and that work on a budget and they have financial fair play rules. You can't spend over a certain amount. If these Saudi guys come in, they just fling all their money at it. There will be no spending caps. There will be none of this. They're just like, you can get whatever you want. It's like Oprah. You can get this, and you can get this, and you can get this. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm really, I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive and I want to cling to this notion of what football was when I was a wee boy. I don't know. Mate, you're on mute.
It's not the same as when you're a wee boy, mate.
I know,
Do
but
you
I
know
just
what I
want
mean?
it to be that way. You know what I mean? I'm naive in my way.
I think the EPL is getting its. I actually, not because I approve or anything like that of how Saudi money is generated or their morals, etc. If people like Saudi Arabia are ruining football, I would ask yourself the question, you know, what has the English Premier League done to football?
Oh,
See
they
if
fucked
there's
it royally.
see if there's guys at Bournemouth on fucking 100 grand a week, Connor, and they've got less season ticket holders than Aberdeen. And
Mm-hmm.
Aberdeen's record wage, I think at that time, was around 2,500 a week. What one's the problem here? Like, what we can't have our cake and eat it. See, for me, I think the SPFL has sold too cheap for years, and I think it's actually important that we get the money that we're due, and hopefully it does become a wee bit more wholesome. Hopefully, if we sell Jota for 25 million, that'll be the second quarter of £100 million player to leave the SPFL. It encourages teams like Ross County when you've got a guy who outscores Mr. Dembele and Liam Bhoycie, funnily enough, is his surname. Do you know what they sold him for?
Was there no something like 300k or something like that?
500 grand.
That's fucking
The
ridiculous.
top score, but that's because they're just biting me at the first offer. I think there's an example to be set here that we need to learn from as well. There's idiots with money out there. Self
See,
idiots.
see the way that Scottish football is viewed, though. You could make the argument that we don't help ourselves. Do you know what I mean? We really don't help ourselves with the refereeing, the plastic pitches, the fucking quality of the football and stuff like that, and the the bigotry. But I'm not going to touch that now. But you know, all of these things kind of paint the league in this kind of light, and then they just dangle this wee carrot, and we're just happy to take a bite at it whenever we get offered it because we've seen that we're not rated very highly. But maybe we should have held out for more over the years. But do you know what I mean? I guess we're gonna have to just try and change it now.
So, Danny O'Malley, always naughty, Connor. says, would I accept 50 grand from Axum for Phil? Like, see, the way I see it is, I left there having not been paid a pencil I ever asked for money. It's not my style. But he had a lot more than 50 grand in his bank. Company's house, mate. Just check it. 50 grand would not be even close to afford. What foot of Phil's does he want? What half of Phil's headphones does he want? No. Phil's indispensable, I think they call it. You agree with that, Connor, right?
Of course I do. The man's the font of all knowledge on the bus, and we'd be lost without him.
So do Celtic now upgrade on Jota?
Are you suggesting
Will
that
they?
Tilio is not? Are you suggesting Tilio is not?
I think Tilio's a Celtic signing, not a Brendan signing. I've been pretty clear all week.
But
That
I'm
I
not saying he
will
is. I'm just asking the question.
No. I'm trying to answer it and be consistent in my answer. I think Celtic make signings. I think Brendan will make signings. I don't tell you it's a Brendan signing. I think it's a Celtic signing. I think if we need to replace Jota, I'd be excited as to who the answer that Brendan thinks will replace that.
Yeah, I mean, I really do want. I was saying, I think Steve will put in the chat saying, reinvest. I think something like the 7 million or something, and put that for a new winger. I'd be like, fuck the 7 million, go for 10. Do you know what I mean? Go all out. We've got the money there. I've got more money coming in. Jota money, Frimpong money, who is rumoured to be going to fucking Real Madrid. So whatever kind of fee they're going to pay for him, we would get a decent
Who's
wedge out of
this?
that. Jeremy Frimpong's getting rumoured to be going to Real Madrid. I don't know how much skin there is in that rumour, but I'm just saying it's been rumoured about. So,
What would that get us another 10 mil?
Maybe aye.
If it was
Something like
50
that.
million,
Aye.
it was because he's apparently 30-40%. Well, we know Peter Maguire, our good friend from PLZ. He was adamant that it was 35-40%, but he was also adamant Brendan Rodgers wasn't coming back. So I would take what he says with a pinch of salt. And by the way, you banned. Bye, Connor. So far with the transfer, we'll wrap this up soon. It was only meant to be a half-hour show because we know we've got Bustalgia on later. See, with regards to transfer window, do you subscribe to my theory? Celtic are signing players right now for Celtic, and Brendan will sign players for Brendan Rodgers' time here. He's guaranteed us 3 years, so let's just take that at face value. I say for Brendan Rodgers' 3-year project, we've not seen a player jump in yet that's going to enhance that. We've seen players Celtic sign for Celtic's evolution, which I've got no problem with, by the way.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that because obviously these last two transfers, the Home and Tilio, do kind of reek of signings that would have been made under the previous regime, and obviously now that Mark Lawwell's in doing a lot of the transfer dealings, that just kind of looked like something he would go to. And obviously, one of them's coming through the City group as well, so we'll usually be talking about that later on tonight. So yeah, all these jigsaw pieces are fitting into place and forming this picture of that there is going to be two separate strategies of transfer signings. I hope that these two that we've just signed are the only two this summer that are the ones that are for Celtic, and I hope the rest of them are all Brendan signings because you don't want to start doing the shit that made him leave the first time right off the bat. Do you know what I mean? Which would really sell him off, man.
There's no way he's here on that remit, though, is there? There's no way. I think he's going, cool, we've got an agreement. You just keep signing the Schweds of the world. And I hope Home will be doing a lot better than Schwed, of course. But that doesn't mean that's the players that I've got to work with. I'm here to get Brendan Rodgers players. I think I agree with Graham Martin. He reckons Brendan is still to make his mark. I agree. I think you'll know. I think we'll be able to decipher it this summer. I'm not against Celtic signing projects, by the way. Not at all. Selling assets, though, Connor. We'll round it up on this. Jota leaving, mate. Is there a player that would have as big an impact if they were to leave this summer as Jota, who's about to depart?
Yeah, Carter Vickers.
You'd be more upset about Carter Vickers?
Yeah.
That's fair.
I
Is
think.
that a football point of view, though?
Yeah. I think. That defence, as good as Starfelt's been, and I think he's treated very harshly by a lot of the support. I don't know why a lot of people don't rate him. I think he's really put a foot wrong this season, or last season, I should say. I think without Carter Vickers, that defence kind of almost collapses. Like, could you imagine we're relying on Kobe Ashes and Stephen Welsh in the Champions League, and your first derby against Rangers, you'd be shitting bricks. So, yeah, while I'm heartbroken that Jota's leaving because he is my favourite player, and he did kind of win everybody's heart a wee bit by visiting the pubs and wearing the old Celtic shirts and playing fives with boys of Celtic gear in New York and all that. I think he's replaceable. Look, no player is irreplaceable, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know we all get like, oh God, how are we going to replace them? And then 7 months later, they've been replaced and a new player turns out to be really good and you don't even think about them anymore. However, he has been that good, and when he was at his peakiest powers, we were all like, holy fuck, this boy's something. He's different gravy, man. Do you know what I mean? So I think and obviously there's a lot of unfinished business there, and I think people are like, very much like Andrew, like, could he just stayed one more season and then you could have, went off. We could have maybe even got more money from him.
Is it but is the money that's been offered to him? Because I think there's this really sad thing that we all buy into now, that players don't speak to clubs until the club accepts a bid for them. I don't believe that. I think agents speak to clubs at their free will. And if he turns around to Jota and goes, mate, 190 grand a week, what you saying to it? Yeah, okay, I'll tell Celtic I want to leave. Right? It's so changed now. I'll be honest, I'm really, really gutted that Jota leaving.
Yeah.
I think 25 million. I think he'll leave Saudi for more if he does decide he wants to test himself on one of Europe's big five. Who knows how that landscape will look though as well, Connor, in the future, because Saudis may well change the whole landscape like they have with other sports, as I alluded to earlier. I understand why there's been a compelling argument for the money involved with Jota, but I've got to say over the last 2 years, he's been my favourite of the Ange era. I know you always think of the Ange era, you associate it with Kyogo and the Japanese sort of clique. For me, Jota was the one that got my ass
I
off
think,
my seat, mate.
see, Angie's team for me, it's solidified in the Trinity, which was
Hey,
Kyogo,
by the way,
Joe,
hey,
and
stop
Harden.
lying. Callum Coyle, world exclusive. Callum Coyle, no idea who you are, son. But he says Jota's not leaving. Stop lying. All right, Callum. No worries, mate. Fucking listen, big boy. Listen, if you're giving us a bus exclusive, mate, that he's not leaving, I'll stop lying. Thank
Yeah,
you, Callum, mate.
I pray you're right, mate.
We
I
need
pray
more
you're
guys
right.
like you. But if you could spell lying right for a start, Callum, that would have helped your fucking case. But the fact you can't even spell lying makes me think you're in denial.
Yeah, lad, mate, come on. You're living under a rock. Let's be honest. Like, I don't know if you've been outside or if you read a paper or I don't know, mate, if you're
Martin,
completely detached from the internet.
and this boy Martin, right? He was in last night talking utter nonsense in the chat, and he's one thing he picked up on, right, was that Johnny Logue said, if I was dealing with the Saudi Arabian teams, I'd ask for 50 million. I think it's a great point. Do you know what Martin came back with? Martin came back with, this is getting clipped. Nobody, I mean, mate, what sort of threat is that? What do you mean this is getting clipped? Martin, you're on the bus tonight. The only highlighted comments are ones that agree with you. I've just brought up yours. How does that feel? Because I disagree with yours massively, mate. Connor, we're going to leave it there. We wish the best to Jota. You agreed on that?
Yep. God bless.
God bless. That's even nicer. And he gave us a lot of good memories. And do you know what? Let's just hope that the profit that's made, we give it
Do you
to
know what? Wait,
Brendan.
one last thing, right?
Yes, go on.
Right. Portuguese superstar, Pornotash the mullet, will be remembered for all these things. But let's just take a moment to remember. João Neves Felipe Jota is the man who retired Alan McGregor.
Right, what a way to round it up. Absolutely superb. Leave you to it. We'll be back for Bustalgia, 9 p.m.